The class is called Black Devils and Racial Supremacy. And I'm going to tell black and white history. We're going to stick with black history, African American history, and this is just the United States, North America, and white history. I'm going to take sort of extreme positions on it, right? But I'm going to tell the history as though it happened in the reverse. Okay? So that black people are on top and white people are on the bottom. As though here's how migration happened. Black people were the first ones, you all, right? Were the first ones to have this, to go into the new world. And let me say, take the gold from Native Americans, exploit the indigenous people who were here, try to enslave them, capture them, kill them when they didn't work for you. All the dirty, rotten stuff that we talk about happened throughout history. That was you all, right? You brought diseases. You just did really horrible things. You committed the genocide. In fact, the longest, most extensive genocide in human history was committed by black people in this story that I'm going to tell. It's a reverse story, so this is fiction. But everything I say in this story is true, to the best of my ability to make it true. So you all came out of Africa, you went to the Americas, but all the Native Americans, you killed them off, and so you had this ingenious idea, hey, we need people to work for us, because we have all this land here now in the Americas, and we need someone to work the land, and so we're going to go to Europe. We're going to get white people in Europe because there are all these poor Europeans up there and they don't know any better. That's your ancestors, right? And they don't know any better. They don't have any idea. And so you're going to go get them. Ingenious, brilliant. And you're going to create this form of slavery we call now chattel slavery. So they're going to bring boatloads upon boatloads upon boatloads of white Europeans over to the Americas, enslave them in perpetuity. So here's some pictures of your ancestors picking cotton. You see a lot of these photos, right? When you read, the history books, you all pay attention to this stuff. You all, of course, because you write the history books, and because, you're really more in control of the message, so to speak, you give it like a page or two until you really have to. But mostly, you sort of skim past it because it's not that important to you. To you all, this is really important. These are your ancestors, right? And on the other side of the ancestry are your ancestors who did a lot of this. They were the owners. They were the ones doing all the really bad stuff. And so, you feel some kind of way about it, so you kind of pass over it. But, you're busy, right? You're busy doing your life and playing Pokemon or whatever you do. I don't know what you do. There's some 1858, right before the Civil War. Those are your ancestors, right? And when you see that photo, you feel something. And when you all see that photo,
it doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah, they're not your people.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Negative.
And when you see it?
Makes me sad.
Yeah.
Cry me a river, though.
Yeah. Hang on. What are you sad about?
That people could be treated in such a way.
Mm-hmm. And so, here are some of your people right before this Civil War that, folks started to free their people. But, these are wealthy black businessmen in New York City, man. These are the ones that rule the city. These are the ones that rule the city. And you're used to seeing these photos, right? You're really used to it. This is just part of your life, right? And when you see this photo, do you have any thoughts on it?
It's classic, dude. It's classic. Them running the show.
Yeah, just running. They were running the show then. They're running the show now. And then we have the war. And, these folks, some folks got the idea that slavery was a bad idea. And what happened was a war breaks out. And you all are trying to hang on to a system, a social system, an economic system, a political system. And so you got to go to war. And so you round up the troops, and there's a bunch of your troops. And you go out to protect your heritage. So they go to war to protect the heritage, and which means what to you all? What are they really protecting?
They want to keep the slaves.
Want to keep you all. They want to keep your ancestors down. You went to war, the bloodiest war in U.S. history. The bloodiest war. Slavery. Y'all The black devils, man. Like, dude, you take these people out of Europe, you enslave them, you give them no rights, you work them, and sometimes work them to death. You create this system that's so unjust, so inhumane. You go to war, you sacrifice so many of your own people, your family members, your people, et cetera, just to hold a system down. So you hold their ancestors down. It's like, man, like, what do you think that you're going to think if you're sitting over here? Like, what do you think you're going to think? But you don't know. You don't think of it. So Reconstruction. So y'all lose. You got to give up slavery, okay? You lose. And what are you going to do with all these poor people? These poor white people, man, who were enslaved. They're less than human in your eyes. So you know, your ancestors looked over there and they see people that are less than human in your eyes. Now they're going to compete for your jobs. They're going to compete for all sorts of things. And what do y'all do? Like, what do? You had the opportunity to do the right thing. And the right thing would have been to give them a little bit of land. They have nothing. I mean, 300 years of holding them down. They have nothing. The right thing to do would be give them land, give them some resources, give them what they need to be self-sufficient. But the reality is, you don't do that. What you do is you recreate a new slave-type system. Basically, you set up a system whereby these people have to go back to mostly the same farms they were working as slaves, but now you get paid, but you get paid very little. Nobody has to provide you housing. Nobody owns you, so they have no reason to provide anything for you. And now they have every reason to just sort of work you right to the bone. Just continue to work you for nothing. And you're not going to give them anything. And what you do is those of you who are in power, the black devils who are in power, what you do is you just give everything, all the power back to your people. You give nothing to them. And so we go decades upon decades upon decades of these people really working to get something out of you, and you still give them nothing. And in many ways, when you study the history after the Civil War, when these people got their freedom, and you study the history of what these people did after the Civil War, it's not very difficult to see that the period after the Civil War, the post-slavery period, actually was worse for them, for these folks, than it was during slavery. By most accounts of freedom and well-being and all sorts of things, it was worse for them after slavery than during slavery. Because you were going to ensure that they got nothing. Because that's how power works. Are you going to give up? You had a chance. You could have done it, and you didn't. Now we get segregation. And y'all, just when maybe y'all would let these folks into society a little bit, this little society that y'all have, right, that you've created, the power structure, everything that it is, and these people are battling to move forward, and maybe when it is, you create these just Jim Crow world, where you just say, you know what, they're getting a little close. Our drinking fountains, your drinking fountains. Our restrooms, your restrooms. I'm like, dudes, seriously? It's like you've got all these years of slavery, all these words of standing on the necks of white people. Standing on the necks of white people. And you don't even just have the decency, the human decency, that presumably your God, your Christian God, your God would say, dude, just step up off their neck a little bit. Damn, you can't even go to the same restroom with them. Law after law. And you just sit. And you're just like, yeah, whatever. So here you go. This is now, look at 1964, right? So we get to the end of this. Look at this. These are your people, man. This is like when you see photos, look at the history books, this is the kind of thing you see. You see a lot of that. Dude, this is what they see more of. They see a lot of it. And granted, not all white people are poor like this, right? But a disproportionate number are. And go to the next slide. And we see that. It's like you all, just when they're going to start to maybe move forward, then you do this. Like you put this group, the black KKK, the KKK. Those are all black faces under there, my friends. Just when they're starting to get their act together, you all do this. Like, talk about evil, man. All they're trying to do is overcome slavery. You know what I mean? They're trying to talk to you about it. Can you just really understand what we've been through? Can you really have any idea? Maybe some of where you're at today, all these nice clothes you have, look at this. Maybe some of that has something to do with your ancestors, whatever. And you just, in the end, you're just like, nah, dudes. You start to get out of line because your voices are a little too strong. And then you all create this. Now, we're just going to scare them right back into the world. It's like, dudes, go to the next one. You even had, in 1925, man, 25,000 KKK members marched right down the main street to the Capitol building in the U.S. government. Man. 25,000, y'all, right? 25,000, the audacity, you all, the audacity of you to not even for a moment say like, man, maybe we should get, no. And when they start to, then they start lynching you all. Those are white bodies right there, my friends. It's like, damn, dudes, seriously? Seriously? Every time they start moving forward a little bit, y'all just come back and you just crank it up. You don't get prosecuted for that, and the police are largely on your side because the police are black, and the police support you, and you don't know who did it, but yet everybody knows who did it, and you don't say anything because your job is to just ensure that they stay down and they know their place. At the end of World War II, this is just a little story. You all set up a system for yourselves because you wanted to make sure the economy gets running again. And so what you had with this GI Bill, white people went and fought for you, for a white America, a white world. They fought, they put their ancestors put their lives on the line for you. They came back, your grandfather and her grandfather, they walk up to benefit from the GI Bill, and the vast majority of the time, her grandfather and people like them, they said, no, your people, this system you set up, says like, no, but you gave the benefits to you. And this went on all over the United States. Okay, here we go, right? 1964, beginning of the Civil Rights Movement, because this is the moment when these people really take off, right? 47% of white families live below the poverty line. 47% of their families live below the poverty line. Not even close to your families. Your families, can you go back one? Your families are living like that. The vast majority, greater majority, go ahead. 47% are living below the poverty line. And so what do? They start a movement. Because you know why, y'all? Because they're tired of your shit. And they're going to start a movement. And it's going to be the Civil Rights Movement. And they got this leader. He's named, Marty Smith. There it is. And he's the leader. And he's going to go and he's going to move it. And you all just crush him, man. You just crush it. Go to the next slide. This is what you do, right? These are all black troops right there, my friends. And these are all the white folks up here, all the black troops. And then you call out your troops. Dude, all they're doing is asking for a little bit of equity. You know what I mean? They're just asking for equity. And you don't even have the decency to say like, all right, whatever. Dude, 47% living below the poverty line that you created. And so you all just start to, and then they kill you. Go to the next slide. Then they kill you. Right? Their troops are shooting you. In the streets, man. In the streets. For doing what? For asking for what? What are you asking for?
Freedom.
Freedom. Just freedom, y'all. Just basic freedom. And then you all, this is like the best slide of all. When they kill them in the streets, and when these people, when you all like sufficiently put them down, then you go out and you riot. And you're all happy. Look how happy that dude is. Look at how happy all these guys are. Because the military came out and put them down. It's like, dude, fuck, seriously? Really? Seriously? That's it? Like, y'all gonna go out, you're gonna protest? Like, you're pissed? You all are pissed. Hey, let me get this straight here, black people. Ready? You're pissed because they want freedom. That's it, really? That's why you're partying now, because you brought your military out and you killed a few of them and you like put them in their place and you're annoyed because they want to be free? But we're all equal. Got it? We're all equal now. Because now we have the civil rights movement. You got it? You ready? We finally got it. These folks did what they were needed to do with their leadership in this thing called the civil rights movement to bring these people to a place where legally they forced them. The courts forced them, to have to break down the barriers so that they forced them to have to go to school with white people. They forced them to have to force the banks to have to give loans to white people to buy a house. They forced the banks to have to give a loan to white people to buy a car. They forced schools to admit them into the schools. They forced the courts that they finally brought you to your knees and you had to do it. You fought every step of the way. Not all of you. Some of you were saying all along, slavery's bad, Jim Crow's bad, this is not a good thing, we really should change it. But most of you did not. First of all, most of you didn't care. Most of you fought it every step of the way, and most of you were happy when they brought the troops out and they put down these people violently, and all they were doing, dude, it was the civil rights movement was nonviolent, y'all. They were walking across the bridges arm in arm in solidarity. And you brought the dogs out and the fire hoses out. And you took them down one after another after another. Like the pathology of evil that is part of your world is just unbelievable. And that's what these folks see all the time. They're studying the books. That's why they're always trying to say, like, we need more white history classes. We need more classes, and we need a civil rights movement week. And we need a week to celebrate, or a day to celebrate Marty Smith, our leader, right? We need all this stuff. And you all just keep resisting. And then they finally get it, and you all are just like, what'd you do on Marty Smith Day a couple weeks ago, dude?
I just chilled, watched Rick and Morty, and that's all I really did.
Yeah? What'd you do on the day that celebrated them getting their freedom?
Same as any other day. Went to Olive Garden.
Yeah.
My family.
What'd y'all do?
I was hyped. I got up bright and early, hung up my Marty Smith poster, screamed it out. I was excited. It's a big day for us.
Dude, big day, man. Yeah? Okay, so we're all equal, Hilda, right? We got it? We're all equal. So here we go. Let's see how equal we are.